Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. We're here with an old friend at a new production of a classic musical, Jesus Christ Superstar, here at the Barbican. Matt Cardle, how are you?
I'm great, Alex. Thank you so much for interviewing me on this occasion.
Well, no, it's lovely to talk to you again, but it's sort of a new Matt in a way. It's a screamy Matt, it's an angry Matt, it's a Matt that might kill me. I'm a bit nervous.
You know what, Alex, it's really, it's one of those things, it is so opposite. It's so opposite of anything I've done before. Not even mildly. It's just the complete. I mean, Huey to, you know, I'm not going to include Wally in this because I think Huey and Wally were, not only was Wally just me essentially with an Aussie accent, you know, introducing things. It wasn't a character. It was kind of a character, but there was no, you know, it was just more me than anything else. But with Huey, that was a character, and with Pilot, it's a character in it, and they are just so on opposite poles. And it's really fun to explore that side of things. You know, I really wanted to act more after Memphis, and then I didn't really get the chance to with Strictly Ballroom. But I feel I do with this, and get out all my pent-up anger and aggression and frustration.
This is one of my most favourite productions, certainly in the last 10 years in the West End. It's extraordinary. It's an amazing cast. It's so beautifully done. And although it's probably one of the most depressing stories in history, by definition, yeah, it's so uplifting, and they've kept the campery, and it's a beautiful cast who work their asses off, don't they?
Yeah, you know what, Alex, it's so incredible to watch, because I'm not on as much as most of the rest of the cast. I get to see from side of stage and from in the wings and all that, just what they're doing each and every, I won't say night because, you know, we've just done a matinee. It is, Drew's choreography is not only just completely and utterly stunning and genius, but it's hard work, as you can see. It really puts the dancers through their paces like nothing else. And to get up and do that 8 times a week is just such a feat, and I admire them all immensely. You know, and what Tim and Jocelyn have done with directing it's just been absolutely phenomenal. I saw it in the park with when Tyrone was Judas. I mean, what a voice Tyrone has, but also what a voice Ricardo has. They're both of them are just on some next level that you know, hearing both of them sing. I remember when we were doing Memphis with Tyrone, when, you know, he sang at the end of Act 1, I was just a melt every time. They're both absolutely world class without a shadow of doubt. And yeah, it's one of those things, and you know, I cannot not mention Tom Deering, what he's done with the music has been, again, watching Tom and Drew work, and Tim, it's just pure genius. It really, really is. And I'd never been in a cast or a company from the very beginning of anything before, so I'd never seen a rehearsal with a musical director, with the choreographer and with the director, all at work. It really is and was something to behold, and an experience I'll never ever forget, that I hope I get very similar. Well, actually, onto Falsettos, it's a very similar thing. Yeah.
What's extraordinary about this, though, is the look of the show is so magnificent, and it's so refreshing and new. And I think for young people to come and see something like this could make them fall in love with musical theatre, because let's face it, there's a lot of crap out there that's very expensive, and this is probably as modern as new theatre's going to get.
Absolutely. What Tom Scott's done with the design of this is, again, just pure genius, and listening to how, you know, how the glitter came into play, and for what reasons, and instead of lashings, they were like, why don't we throw glitter at them and at him? And then, you know, the whole thing of when Tim Sheeder was talking the other night when we had a Q&A about it, you know, and it's like, if he's covered in blood, then all this glitter's going to stick to him, and then he's suddenly becoming this, you know, deity that they all believe he is, and, you know, turning from just a man at the beginning into the symbol of the gold cross, which is what a lot of people Christians wear around their neck. You know, just that, I was like, oh my God, that's mental.
It's so simple, but so brilliant.
So simple, so brilliant. And, you know, with all the the costumes and stuff, it's mostly All Saints. Do you know what I mean? Talk about getting the youngsters on side and stuff like that. It just, everybody looks so cool. Yeah. Like, I remember when everyone came in for the dress rehearsal, I was like, I'd wear that out, I'd wear that out, I think I've got that. Do you know what I mean? And my outfit as well, I mean, put some sleeves on it and I'd wear that out. You know?
And it's a young, sexy cast who, as I say, work so hard, and these moves are so brilliant, and it's contemporary dance as well as classical musical theatre sort of put together, and it looks so fresh. How knackered are you at the end of an 8-show week? Because this is no walk in the park, is it?
No, I mean, I can only speak for myself, and you know, there are only 3 songs for me to sing, but I mean, they're quite heavy, and it's I think I managed to steal myself a few lines that really aren't sung, you know what I mean, like that are just acted, and I think I'm lucky because not everyone has the opportunity to do that as much as Pilot, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity to really sink my teeth into the acting side of things. So vocally I'm a little bit tired, but you know, body wise I'm fine, but the other guys I know are shattered.
What's the difference between singing loudly and shouting? Because this is an angry part. I mean, in that last scene you have to give it 120% or it just won't work.
Well, this is it, and this is what I've said to people before, you know, you've taken the words out of my mouth. You are at 150%, or it just doesn't work. You can't just count to 39. You know, he doesn't want to do it. He's with every number that comes and goes, he's more and more shocked at what he's doing, disgusted with himself, disgusted with the fact that, or just shocked at the fact that this guy's taking it as well. You know, and you can't, and you know, and the frustration with him not wanting to do it, but being forced by three or four different, you know, entities to do it. You can't mix all those things together and then just say the word, you know, say the numbers. You have to feel every single one of them in an increasing measure, you know. So and I've said this to someone the other day, like if I was to sing at one of my shows and try and sing like Pilot, I'd lose my voice within 2 days because it's not natural at all, and you're just squeezing, you're trying to sound rocky and that, but that's acting rather than singing. That's how it's managed to be stable, and how I do 2 of those shows a day and not just lose my voice. And you know, babies will lie on their backs and scream blue murder night after night, and they don't lose their voices, you know, because they're doing something natural. They are upset, they're crying and screaming. You know, when you're into the role at 150%, you're feeling those things. Those things are coming from deep inside, and they're coming out naturally. So luckily, through the acting, the vocals kind of take care of themselves. Even though it sounds like, how could you do that 8 times a week without, you know, losing your voice? I say that now. I mean, touch wood.
You're sounding great on stage, and it sounds beautiful. The sound guys really deserve a medal for this. It's some of the best sound I've ever heard in a theatre ever. They're talented, aren't they? I mean, they're the difference between this being an okay show and being a groundbreaking, amazing show.
Absolutely, Alex. And you know what? Again, I've got to hand it to Tom Deering. We were pulled in for a 9-show week because they weren't quite happy with some of the things sound-wise. And you know what, as much as Ricardo and Rob were nearly dead by the end of the week doing that 9 times, you know, they've gone in such finite detail about the sound and the mix and everything, and you're absolutely right, and that's music to my ears, and I'll relay that, trust me, to Tom and the rest of the sound department, because yes, they do an incredible job. And it wouldn't be, and that's what Tim was saying and Tom was saying, when you know, when people scrutinise things to this extent, and the tiniest little tweaks, and you're sitting there thinking, you know, sometimes at the end of a 6-hour rehearsal you're like, really, you know, like, but yes, really, because that, again, it's those tweaks and those touches that make the difference, like you say, between something that's brilliant and something that's exceptional. And I think they've made something exceptional here. Yeah.
And I think the final 15 minutes, the timing as well, nothing's rushed, they take their time, all that stuff is so magical. I wonder when you come off how quick it is just to become Matt again, because you talk about becoming an actor. What's it like not becoming an actor and not taking this time? A mate of mine just played Jean Valjean for a year in the West End, and he dies 8 times a week, and I guess you just have to switch it off.
Well, there you do, and I think one person that really helps with that is Rob Tripolino, because he is just one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet. He's just ridiculously talented, as we all know, but he's got the best work ethic of someone in his position that I've ever seen. Like, he's there bloodied and and because, you know, he just has to almost play dead at the end. You know what I mean? The whole last is him just going from broken all the way to dead. He'll come off and he's laughing, he's joking with us because, like, he has to forget what's going on. And it's when you see him come past you looking the way he does with his eye gouged out with a big smile on his face going, "Hey buddy," it just brings everyone up, and it's like, oh, you know, here we go, let's go and have some food and whatnot.
You know, I fell in love with you as an artist when I saw you in Memphis, and I realised the difference between a singer, a star, an actor, a performer, and somebody who can do everything. And you really did in that, and I think you impressed the West End, and the reason you're probably here today is because of that show. Is it thrilling for you at this point? You can come into this, and then we're going to talk about, you're already on the next thing before you've even finished this, and then you've still got the albums and the live stuff. It's an amazing privileged career that most people don't get.
Honestly, so sweet. Thank you, Alex, again. You know, I agree with you. I think in as much as Memphis is really the reason I'm here, I think had I not been thrown in so much at the deep end, I don't think I would have had an opportunity to prove myself in the West End the way I did back in 2015. And you know, I'll be eternally grateful to Beverly Knight, Tara, the producers and everything of Memphis for giving me a shot at Huey. I think because it went the way it did and opened up the door for me to the West End, I think I'm literally one of the luckiest people around, because you know I do get to do it all, and you know, and I haven't you know been picky with the shows, but you know, after Memphis I took 3 years off when we spoke, you know, to finish the album and to get back with Sony Records and release the album and do all that. I've been so lucky with the things that have been offered to me West End wise as well, which is, you know, another reason why I throw myself at it. So
it's also delivering. We talked before about this turning up and giving 100%. Not everybody does that, and also not everybody can do it. They might look great on the poster, but then can they stand in a theatre 8 times a week and knock it out of the park? And again, that's a lifetime's work, isn't it? You didn't just fall into 2015 and happen to do it. You spent your whole life crafting this career.
No, absolutely, and that is something that, you know, I say to people, like, and I said it in interviews before, like, it seems like it happens overnight for people, but it doesn't. It does happen overnight. The change happens overnight, but that change wouldn't be possible had it not been for the last 20 years of work, you know, or the last 15 years of solid hard work and experience. And it really is amazing. The West End is such a wonderful place to be because it's so small. It's very respectful. Everyone's respectful of each other and of the craft because there's so many people in it. It's not just a solo career. It's not that I don't have respect in my solo career, but it's like there's a big team thing going on with the West End, and everybody's there for everybody, and it really is. It's just such a magical thing to be a part of, and to be able to swing them both together is, I do feel incredibly lucky.
I suppose the difference is on stage, if you've got 30 people around you, you've all got to work together to make it amazing, whereas in show business you're all competing for number one, so you're enemies at the same time as being friends.
This is exactly true, Mr. Belfield. You know what, I never that has been so true. When I was on X Factor with Aiden, I was like, I love you, man, but get the fuck out of this company. You're really like, I love you, but I don't like you. You know what I mean? It was so true. Like, he was my greatest competition, I felt, and I was shocked when he went out. I was so shocked. But you know, it was that thing of like, yeah, we got on so well, but we were after the same thing here. Right. Whereas like in the West End, it's like everyone gets on so well and we're all the same thing, is making the show the best that it can be and making each other the best that they can be and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's a real sense of camaraderie.
And I love you're here because you're credible and relevant, not because you're ticking a box or because you're somebody who was on the telly. I mean, that's the most important thing, isn't it? When you walk on there, you're a West End leading man. You're not a guy off the telly who's just been given a break.
Do you know what? I really hope so, you know, and I think after this, do you know what, Alex? For this, doing this show, being pilot here is to me not, and I don't know how to say this without it sounding weird, but you know, like when I did Memphis, and people would say you've now proved it. I didn't believe that. I don't think one show can prove anything.
I also don't think you realise how complicated that show is. I know there's this one big number that steals it, but it's a whole 2.5 hours of acting and getting through it to get to that number. I don't think you, at this point, realise how amazing it was. The first time I saw it on Broadway, I couldn't believe how much work it was, and you were literally thrown in the deep end.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and that's why I said when I went to watch it, I was like halfway through the first act, I was like, oh, this is lovely, isn't it? I mean, I can't do that. I've never once acted. Did they know I've never acted, or they know I do, you know? So I do understand that the role was a kind of like, if you can do Huey, then that there. But there was also the sense of he's done one show. Come on, he's done one. Yeah, fine. It was Huey. Yes, it was Memphis, but it's one show. And then after that, you know, Strictly Ballroom. That was it was a funny one, as we all know, because character-wise, it was more narration and
it was basically panto, wasn't it? Let's face it.
On my behalf, it was. You know, so I didn't really feel that was another, you know, nail in the box of, yes, he's proven himself in the West End, but I do feel that way with Pilot. I think it's, and just because also it's so opposite, there are many things in between Pilot and Huey, like Fiyero, for example. Do you know what I mean? There are lots of things to...
I'd like you to be Edna in Hairspray one day. I think you'd look great in a frock.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
Understudy for Michael Ball, you know it.
Yeah. No, and I do feel very, very lucky. And very settled now. Like I said this to you before, when I first walked into Memphis, if I could have worn a sandwich board with "I am terribly sorry" written on the front and the back, I would have done that into warm up because of stunt casting, because all that kind of stuff. But now, legitimately, after playing Pilot and you know, the reviews that we've had and everything going the way it's, and I feel like I can walk anywhere around the West End now with my head up, you know.
And the biggest compliment, and I've read those reviews too, if you were letting the side down, they would have named and shamed you at this point. I mean, this is such an exceptional piece of work and such a beautiful piece of theatre. You've got to compliment it or you'd stick out, because it is a part that really is exceptional within it. I mean, it's almost extra to the show. You're sort of added in the first half, and then the second half you own it by the end, which is beautiful. And you do that brilliantly, and you sound amazing. We always ask the question, how are you? You look brilliant, you sound brilliant, your eyes are sparkling. Is everything good?
Thank you, Alex. You're always such a pleasure, mate. Honestly, thank you so much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm tired. I'm just starting rehearsals for Falsettos, so you know, my days and nights are consumed with learning and theatre, which I wouldn't want it any other way, you know. We've got a new single coming out later on in the summer, and you know, some bits and bobs over Christmas, some kind of exciting things coming up music wise in Christmas. But you know, I'm just very happy, very settled, and confident, which is something I'm not often, you know. My worst enemy it is inside my head, and the less I do, the more time he has to screw with me, and that's.
But aren't we all like that?
Well, absolutely, no, completely. And I find not doing anything it can be really, really bad for me. So when I am busy, you know, even when I was like the gap between you know, the last single and then starting rehearsals for this, and because we're not going to tour this year, we'll tour the album next year, but that was still, it was long, and I was nearly going mad. And then the next thing, suddenly you're in, thank God I'm out of the house, you know what I mean? I spent a lot of time fishing because I love fishing, but you know, that was the only thing that was keeping me sane.
Compliments or real fish?
No, carp and tench and rudd and roach. No, I love
what
fishing.
Is that the serenity of, from this, the insanity of the standing ovation, to the quietness of just you and a goldfish or something?
Literally, that sounds no, you know, it's sitting next to a beautiful lake for 3 days in a little tent by yourself, or with my brother or with a friend, and just having a few cans of ale and you know, just fishing and just totally relaxing. I go with my parents and stuff. It's just a beautiful thing to do. But yeah, you know, I love being busy, and the busier I am, the more healthy I feel, and the happier I am as well, you know.
I think that is the downside of this business. We all want to be wanted, and when we feel excluded, even when we're not, that's the hardest thing to deal with. You're not out the business, but if you're not in it, you feel like you are.
No, exactly. Even when I'm fishing, I'm like, do I do anything in it? Honestly, it's funny you say that. I have sat there like before when I'm not doing anything. It's like, the fuck am I doing with my life? Excuse me. I'm like, what? I'm like, who even am I? I've been fishing for carp for like 3 weeks solid, sitting around at home with my mum and dad. Like, what's going on? Nothing. Like, well, why not? Because you've got these gaps between what you do, like whether you're touring in 3 months' time or you got not another single for like 4 or 5 weeks and we haven't got any gigs and stuff. You do wonder. It's funny when you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything.
Don't worry, you wouldn't believe the hours I spend with my rod in my hand too. Let's talk about Falsetto, which is on the way next. I mean, before this is even finished, you're in rehearsals and then you open like a week later. That's exciting because, again, it's a famous cast and it's a headlining cast in a new venue that I know is going to be a sellout before it's even started, because it's one of those exciting projects that everybody wanted to do and they gave you the role. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. At the moment, Falsettos is a little bit like looking at the sun for me. It's too big and too bright. I can't quite, I need to put 7 pairs of shades on because there's so much to do, so little time to do it. And the other guys are getting Saturday and Thursday to rehearse. I'm not. I'm getting 2 days less than everyone else. I don't know if you've seen or heard any of the material. There's so much. It's so intricate. There is no real such thing as a solo in that show. Right. With someone singing, three at least, 4 other people are interjecting, harmonise. It's just one. Don't get me wrong. It sounds, when it comes together, it is going to be a masterpiece. But putting that masterpiece together is going to be difficult experience.
Is it exciting asking yourself the question, will I be able to do it, or is it terrifying?
You know what? It just comes together, Alex. It just happens somehow every time, no matter what it is. There's a deadline on a show. When we first got into rehearsals for JCS, I was like, no, it's never going to happen. It's never going to work. What the hell? And then it works, and you do it, and you get through it, and you're amazed at everyone and yourself. And I want that to happen this time around. With Falsettos, it just, come on, let's just get it done. Not done. Let's just get it started.
I hope you sit here proud today. I mean, not only is this a glorious piece of work, and I can't say enough good things about it. I was dubious when I came. I'd seen the reviews, but then again, I've been to 5-star shows that I thought were crap. So what do they know? But just sitting there watching the reaction of the audience, which was incredibly diverse and young, by the way. And I think that's so important, that theatre regenerates to get new people and young people in, and not just for panto. And a show like this, which is a tough sell, I mean, it's never going to be a bag of laughs. You're not going to be sat there tittering all the way through. But they've kept the campery and the fun of it and all that stuff. I guess this gives you opportunity to shine as a rock star like your live gigs do, because, I mean, it's just you and a pin focus and a microphone, isn't it?
Well, this is it. I mean, the thing with Pilot is, like you said, I find this role a little bit like getting in a hot bath. I come on at the start at Simon Zellett's just after, to the fanfare. I don't say anything. I just, exact my authority on everyone. Everyone behave. I'm still knocking about. Just crush up a can and off I go. It's almost like dipping your toe in. Then Pilot's dream happens, and it's like, it's a very strange moment of the show, because it's the first time it's ever been just a couple of guitars and a vocal, so that it's a strange way of coming into it. And then again, Pilot and Christ, things are starting to heat up, and then by the trial, it's you are really taking control of this whole situation, which is, it's a very empowering thing, but also, like, me, I don't feel like I'm if someone stands on my toe, I'm the one who apologises, right? Do you know what I mean? It's like, to go and scream and run around and just be like that is so not what is in me, but I think that's why I'm enjoying it so much.
Don't try it in the supermarket. I don't think at Waitrose they'll like it.
Exactly. Like a little Pilot in M&S.
The lighting in this is exceptional too. Sound is incredible. It looks beautiful. Ricardo just steals it with that voice. What a ridiculous voice.
It's just insane.
And you have the whole ensemble and the number of people on stage as well. I mean, that in itself is remarkable for the size of the stage, which is relatively small. There's like 700 people, I think, at one point. Congratulations on everything. I can't wait to see you in Falsetto. Come and see Jesus Christ Superstar through until the 24th. And it's always a pleasure to see you. You're a top man. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much.